Hello everyone and welcome to Barca News. It's November 21st, 2022, and Frenkie De Jong has criticized the Barcelona Board of Directors in regards to their attempt of offloading him this past summer transfer market. Also, Jose Mourinho has called Barcelona because he's interested in signing one of their players, and Barcelona have one less club to compete with in regards to the signing of Moukoko. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and we'll begin with the news that the first Barcelona players debuted today in the 2022 Qatar World Cup when both Frenkie De Jong and Memphis Depay represented the Netherlands in their victory against Senegal 0-2. Now, Frenkie De Jong was absolutely brilliant in today's match where he took the reins of the Dutch midfield. Not only was he solid defensively, but he also contributed greatly to the offense where he continuously broke through Senegal's lines with the ball at his feet and where he made brilliant runs to the box. Now, Frenkie De Jong provided the assist for the Netherlands' first goal when he provided a brilliant cross into the box that was headed in by Cody Gakpo. Now, Memphis Depay came in during the final 30 minutes of the match and he contributed to the Netherlands' second goal when his shot was blocked by the Senegalese goalkeeper and his teammate was there to push the ball in during stoppage time. Now, Serginho Dest, who's currently on loan with AC Milan, also debuted today in the World Cup when he represented the United States of America in their draw against Wales 1-1. Now, two more Barcelona players will debut in the World Cup tomorrow, starting with Andreas Christensen, who will be representing Denmark in their match against Tunisia, followed by Robert Lewandowski, who will be representing Poland in their match against Mexico, as the Polish striker will be looking to score his first World Cup goal ever. Now, speaking of Frenkie De Jong, the Dutch midfielder has criticized the Barcelona Board of Directors in their attempt to offload him this past summer transfer market. Now, Frenkie De Jong said, "I blame these people, the Barca hierarchy, but I have nothing to do with them. Yes, they are Barca for me because they run the club, but I don't see them when I'm at the club. I have nothing to do with them in my daily life. One day, a paper published my contract details. I didn't leak it, and only one other party knew the details. So it had to be the club who did this. And suddenly, there was a letter in which the question was asked whether my contract was still valid, because the previous president made the contract. I found it really annoying that the club did this." So Frenkie De Jong does not only seem to blame the board of directors for their attempt to offload him this past summer transfer market, but he also seems to be blaming them for leaking his contract to the press. Now, I understand Frenkie De Jong's frustration with the club and trying to push him out of the door. However, I am the opinion of, and I made a specific video about this, that Barcelona were within their rights to try to offload Frenkie De Jong this past summer transfer market. Now, after all, Frenkie De Jong does not only have the highest salary on the squad, but he also has the highest salary in the entire Spanish league, and he has an incredibly high salary that Barcelona simply cannot afford. And given the financial situation of the club, they had to offload the player so they can remove that salary off their books, because if Barcelona are going to come out of this difficult financial situation, they need to cut all of their unaffordable expenses, which the previous president Josep Maria Bartomeu left them with. Now, Frenkie De Jong's salary is reason enough for Barcelona to try to offload him, but when you add to this the fact that the player has not lived up to the expectation and the hypes that we all had of him since he arrived in Ajax, that's even more reason for Barcelona to try to offload him, because if Frenkie De Jong was a differential player that we all expected him to be, then his salary would at least make sense, but since he's not, then it doesn't make sense to be paying him all that money. Now, then you add to all of this the fact that Manchester United offered Barcelona 80 million euros when no other clubs would have offered that for the player given his performance. Then it was no-brainer that Barcelona attempted to offload the player, especially given their economic situation, because after all, this difficult economic situation forced Barcelona to say goodbye to their best player in their history, Lionel Messi. So why wouldn't they say goodbye to a player that hadn't lived up to his expectation since he arrived from Ajax? Now, I do understand Frenkie De Jong's frustration with the club to try to offload him this past summer transfer market, but I think that this is not the right way to go about these things, because if he's upset with the board of directors, the best way to handle that would have been to sit down with the board of directors and voice his displeasure instead of waiting to be in a different country during the World Cup to express all his frustration to the press, because all these statements do is increase the tension between Frenkie De Jong and the board of directors, after there were multiple reports saying that the relationship between Frenkie De Jong and the club had dramatically improved this past few months as the player has been improving his performance and getting more playing time. So since the relationship had improved between Frenkie De Jong and the club, all he's doing with these statements is take a step back. Now, Frenkie De Jong doesn't want Barcelona to keep egging him on leaving the club. He has two options. Number one, either to agree to a salary reduction, which would make it more affordable for the club to keep him, or number two, increase and improve his performance on the field so the club can justify paying him so much money. Now, right after Frenkie De Jong released his statements in the press, Enric Masip, who is Joan Laporta's advisor and who forms a member of the sporting committee, immediately came out to the defense of Joan Laporta, and he said, "I can say with knowledge of the facts that the person at the club who most defended the continuity of Frenkie De Jong was Joan Laporta. He never considered selling him. Never. Even with the club's delicate financial situation." Now, even though Frenkie De Jong blames the board of directors for trying to offload him this past summer transfer market, he doesn't seem to be blaming Xabi. When Frenkie De Jong said, "I never got the feeling that Xabi was against me. To the media, he said that he was happy with me, but that there were also financial issues at the club to consider. I think it was difficult for him to speak about it. He is not the one making these decisions. He left the possibility of me leaving open because he never came out and said, Frenkie is staying no matter the financial situation. But I don't put the blame on Xabi." Now, Frenkie De Jong seems to understand a difficult situation that Xabi was in, where even though he wanted Frenkie De Jong on his squad and we wanted Frenkie De Jong to remain at the club, he wasn't able to make the final decision of keeping him because, after all, Barcelona were going through a very difficult financial situation, and Frenkie De Jong seems to understand the difficult position that Xabi was put in, and he doesn't blame him for any of this, and that is, of course, great news because it's good to know that the player has a good relationship with his coach, because we all know what happens when the players have a bad relationship with their coaches, and a prime example of that is Manchester United. Now, even though there's tension between Frenkie De Jong and the board of directors, the player confirmed once again that he would like to stay at Barcelona when he said, "When I play, it's great, and in terms of living there, life is perfect. I see myself at Barcelona for as long as possible. I would personally hope for another 8 or 10 years." Now, it's reported that the Barcelona Board of Directors were not happy with Frenkie De Jong's statements, and it's also reported that both Manchester United and Chelsea are currently monitoring the situation of the player after these statements surfaced, because even though Frenkie De Jong said that he wants to remain at Barcelona, both Manchester United and Chelsea are interested in the player and would like to make a bid for him if the opportunity arises. Now, on to the news that Jose Mourinho has called Barcelona because he's interested in signing Hector Bellerin. Now, Bellerin has a one-year contract with Barcelona until the summer of 2023. However, neither Barcelona nor Xabi have been impressed with the performance of the player. Now, as a result, it's reported that Barcelona are getting ready to offload Hector Bellerin this winter transfer market in order to clear space on their wage bill for the incoming new signings. Now, Roma's coach Jose Mourinho no longer counts on his right back Rick Karsdorp, who he called a traitor. So as a result, Jose Mourinho is in desperate need for a right back with some depth. So as a result, the Roma coach called Barcelona because he wants to take Hector Bellerin on loan. Now, another player that could be exiting Barcelona is Frank Kessie. Now, as I reported previously, there were rumors saying that Barcelona were considering offloading Frank Kessie this winter transfer market. And there were also rumors saying that Frank Kessie was looking to leave the club because he wasn't getting much playing time. However, both the club and the player stated that these rumors are absolutely false and that Frank Kessie will not be leaving Barcelona during this winter transfer market. Well, it's now being reported that Barcelona could consider the future of Frank Kessie in the summer, because Barcelona signed Frank Kessie because they wanted a physical and strong midfielder. However, he hasn't been getting much playing time as of late, and if this situation continues, then Barcelona will have to consider the future of the player, and they will have to arrive at a solution that's beneficial to both parties. Now, on to the news that Barcelona have one less major club to worry about in regards to the signing of Youssouf Moukoko. Now, as we've been talking about these past few days, Moukoko's contract with Dortmund will expire in the summer of 2023. And as a result, all the major clubs in Europe are currently monitoring the situation of the player, because he has become one of the most coveted players in the market, as he's considered one of the most promising young players in all of football. And if he does end up leaving Dortmund this next summer, then it would be an absolute steal for any club that ends up signing him to sign such a rising star for free. Now, the German media outlet Bild had initially reported that Bayern Munich were in advanced talks to sign Youssouf Moukoko. However, this publication has now backtracked and said that Bayern Munich had made the final decision of not trying to sign Youssouf Moukoko because they aren't willing to pay the player's demands of a 7 million euro salary, and they also consider his position to be filled at the German club. Now this is great news for Barcelona because they are not going to have to worry about Bayern Munich try to compete with them to sign Youssef Moukoko, and the only club that Barcelona will have to worry about is PSG and some other Premier League clubs, because even though Real Madrid are also interested in Moukoko, they are more focused on signing Endrick. Now speaking of PSG, it's reported that the Parisian club are now interested in signing İlkay Gündoğan. Now, as I reported previously, the Turkish-German midfielder's contract with Manchester City will expire in the summer of 2023, and as a result, Barcelona are considering him as a free agent option to replace Sergio Busquets. Well, it's now being reported that the Parisian side are also interested in signing İlkay Gündoğan, and they are willing to go to enter into a bidding war with Barcelona for the services of the Manchester City midfielder. Now, as I reported previously, there was some worry in Barcelona that Uruguay could be playing Ronald Araujo prior to his fully recovered from his injury. Now, Ronald Araujo has traveled to Qatar with Uruguay despite him still being recovering from the surgery that he had on his thigh back in September, and Barcelona physical therapist had traveled with the player in order to supervise his recovery, and this physical therapist had reported to Barcelona that he was worried that Uruguay could be playing Ronald Araujo before he is fully recovered. Well, Uruguay has now confirmed to Barcelona that they will not be playing Ronald Araujo before he is fully recovered, and the player himself has also assured both sides that he will not force himself to play if he is not fully recovered, because he doesn't want to risk his career, especially since he's still young and he still has many more years to play. Now, Barcelona currently have a deal in place with Uruguay that Ronald Araujo will not be playing any of the group stage matches, and it's reported that the club are now at ease after Uruguay confirmed that they will not be playing the player during the knockout stages if he's not ready and he has not recovered from his injury. Now, we'll end today's video with a brief update that Barcelona are still interested in Benjamin Pavard, even though the French defender has said that he doesn't want to play in the right back position and that he's only interested in playing in the center back position. And as I reported previously, Real Madrid are also interested in signing the French defender, but they have made it clear that they will not pay more than 18 million euros for the World Cup winner. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I'd like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. And as always, peace, Barça.